Everybody wants some blast of magic, 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 magic. Look up the magic in me.
It's Wednesday. You know what that means? It's Magician 101 time, the show for all magicians. Post your questions down below for next week, and I'll answer them right here on Magician 101. All right, Perry's up first with the first question. I'm not going to pronounce your last name, Perry, because I'm probably going to butcher it. He says, is the trick Ultra Gum worth it? All right, well, Ultra Gum, if you don't know what that is, it's a trick where you take a dollar bill, and it can be signed or not. You rip the corner of it off, and you make the corner vanish. And then you bring out this package of gum. It's the kind of gum that has the little windows and the square pieces. And you show that there's no way to get take the gum out or in without breaking the seal. And then you show the window, one of the little windows where the gum sits. You rub it, and boom, appears this the corner of the dollar bill that you tore off. And then you can take it out. You can open the gum up, take it out, and then you can show the corner matches. I don't actually own the trick, Perry, but I've been doing some research for you. I've been looking on reviews of it online, and a lot of magicians say that it's really a good trick, and a lot of them really use it in their close-up settings. So, but I would recommend going to look at the demo video. I'm sure you've already looked at it, but decide if it fits your style of magic first. And if it does, read some reviews of it as well and see what other people are saying. You know, I'm not going to give their reviews because you want to go read them for yourself. But a lot of magicians are saying it's a good trick. So, Ultra Gum, I can't give you a full review of it, but from what I've been reading online, people seem like they like it. All right, 5555 Trumpet says, what tricks do you most recommend to freak people out on Halloween? And I'm so glad he asked this question because Halloween is coming up in just a few weeks. And if you order your magic, your Halloween magic now, it'll be here with enough time for you to practice before Halloween. All right, so I don't know what kind of magic you do, Mr. Trumpet. I'm going to call you Mr. Trumpet. So I'm going to break this into two categories, stage and close-up. So some really good close-up tricks to do are the web. I think that's Richard Sanders does the web. That's a really good trick to freak people out because they have these blank cards and then there's spider webs appear on them and then you say, oh, we need to get the spider webs off the cards. Wave your hand over it and then there's a spider sitting on their hand. That's a really good trick. That really freaks people out. Because the spider, they jump and they go, ah! So that's really good. Another good one to freak people out is Chris Ballinger's newest creation, Ant-Tac 2, and I did on Monday the demo, or I did the performance of Ant-Tac, and that really freaks people out because if you don't know what Ant-Tac 2 is, you take, well, it's a gimmick that you can do other tricks with, but the original Ant-Tac routine, you take and have somebody draw a picture of a food on a card, and then ants appear on the back of the card with the food on it, and then you take the ants, you flick them off into the spectator's hand, and then when the ants fall off the card, the spectator will jump back. That's a good one. Ben Harris Creeps. That's another good one. Or Creep. I think it's Creeps with an S on the end. Ben Harris Creeps is a really good one. That's one where you take this matchbook and it opens on its own. And then they can examine the whole matchbook, all the matches, and there's nothing to find. You end clean. That's a good one. The one on the Magic Geek demo, Rachel, she gets really scared when they do that trick. Because she's like, it's opening. It's opening. What's the noise? And it really freaks her out. So that's a good one. Another really good one. Do I have the DVD? It's somewhere on my magic shop set. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna be rude and turn my back to you all for just a moment. It is this trick, Barry Taylor's Mouse Surprise. This is from Barry's Magic Shop. That Barry, of course, is the guy who Barry Taylor ran Barry's Magic Shop for 36 years. But this is a really good trick. It's a coin trick. If you like coin magic, I know coin magic has a lot more sleight of hand involved. But you take a coin and you vanish it, make it reappear a couple times, but then it turns into a mouse. And you have your hands closed. You have this little mouse that comes out of your fist, or out of your closed hand, and it freaks people out. Now, it's not a real mouse. It's a little fake mouse. But still, when that mouse pops out, then the coin disappears and turns into a mouse. It's really, really cool. And you get a nice revelation at the end with this trick where the coin turns, or the mouse turns back into a coin right in front of the spectator's face. I mean, honestly, you do one move, but it looks like that mouse visually turns into a coin, back into a coin. It's really cool. This is nice, too, because Barry goes over a lot of really good sleight of hand for this. He goes over in depth a lot of good coin sleight of hand moves. So I recommend getting the Barry Taylor Mouse Surprise. Now, for stage, if you do a lot more stage magic, Some really good Halloween tricks to freak people out. Anything with a sword. So sword through neck. Another good one is the sword swallowing feet. I've done that for the magic challenge already, where you take the sword, you swallow it, and you pull it out. That's a really good one. If you do actual sword swallowing, that's a good thing to do for Halloween. Another good one is the razor trick, or the I think it's the sewing needle trick, where you eat the razors or eat the sewing needles, and then you pull them out of your mouth, and they come on and then you eat a string too. You eat a string, and you pull out the string, and out comes all the needles or all the razors on the tied on this string. That's really cool. Freaks people out when you start eating things. Another really good one to do for Halloween, and Magic Geek sells this, I know a lot of other places sell it, is Tomas, the guy who does the cardiologist deck. He has put out a DVD called Geek Magic, and Geek Magic is where you do certain things like sword swallowing the balloon, eating people's spit, eating glass, does some other really cool effects and really freak out effects, so that'd be really good for Halloween. Another good one is Flesh Wound. I don't have Flesh Wound. I want to get it one day. But that's one where you take a box cutter, you cut your arm, and then you pull down a little flap of skin, and they can see your flesh on the inside. It's really gross. Then you heal yourself. Another good one is the needle. The needle through arm effect, where you take the needle, poke it through your arm, and your arm starts bleeding. That's a good one. One by Dan Sperry is really good. It's one where you take 4 Oreo cookies. One of them has a razor blade in it, or has a nail in it or something, and you have somebody mix up the Oreos, and then you start eating these Oreos, and the last one that's left is the one with the razor blade in it, or the one with the nail in it. That's a really good one. And one of the really good ones to do for Halloween are any kind of chopper things, like arm choppers, hand choppers, finger choppers. Those freak people out as well. So you got a lot of great stuff to actually choose from there. So it's really good. And if you're going to do a show for Halloween, make sure you have a lot of tricks that have a Halloween theme. Either tricks that, you can make into a Halloween theme, like there's Forgetful Freddy. That's the one where the balloon pops, and then the card appears in where his head was. They have some versions like that with Frankenstein on them. So, get tricks. If you're going to do a show for Halloween, get tricks that you can, get tricks you can have a Halloween theme to them, or take your existing tricks and kind of work in a Halloween theme. Now, 5555 Trumpet also asked, what card tricks do you most recommend? All right, I'm going to break this down into some other things, too. I guess I'll say which ones I like. Some really good ones that I like are Chris Ballinger's Forced Outcome. I talk about this every week because somehow it comes up in some capacity. But Chris Ballinger's Forced Outcome, you take a borrowed deck of cards. It can be borrowed. The trick can be completely impromptu. And you have the spectator choose a card. You lose it in the deck. And then you find it. And you show 4 cards, and they're not the spectator's card, then you have them pick a card, they pick one, and then all 4 cards turn out to be their card, turn into their card, and then they turn back into regular cards. Or they turn back in, 3 of them turn back in different cards, and you have their card as their card's also in there. That's a great trick. Another one, Crosswords by Mark Mason, another really good one. I've done that for the Magic Challenge as well. That one is where you have 2 cards that say mine, 2 cards that say yours, and you do kind of Doc Daly's last card trick routine, but at the end, you shake the mine cards, and they turn into yours. Very, very, very cool. I like that one. Another good one that I like is 3-Card Monty, the Michael Skinner version. That's a good one, too. That's a great packet trick that a lot of magicians love to do. So that's a good one to pick up. Chris Ballinger's Redemption is another really good one to pick up. That one is a nice trick where if you don't know what that trick is, you have somebody sign the card, you tear it up, and then you make the pieces disappear and reappear back on the top of the deck, but they're back in the spectator's card. Another good one is Chris Ballinger's The Shark. The Shark is where you have a sandwich routine, and the Shark is where you can. I did a video for that a couple weeks ago. And another good one is Chris Ballinger's Antac. There's many different routines you can do on this DVD with the Antac 2 gimmick. That's another really good one. And Kaleidoscope Cards Elite is a good one to do. The Kaleidoscope cards is the classic effect in Magic. There's a lot of really good card tricks. I'm a card man myself. That's really what I do out on the street. When I do street Magic or I do close-up shows, I'll do a lot of card tricks. And I'll also do some sponge ball tricks as well. But a lot of times I'll do card tricks. So, yeah, so there's a lot of great card tricks, and, you know, again, 5555 Trumpet, if you're looking at a specific card trick that you're thinking about buying and you're not sure about it, leave a question below, and I'll answer it on a future episode of Magician 101. All right, and one of my great friends, Jay Brothwick, has the final question this week, and it says, thanks, 444R. What do you think of Zigzag Rocky? If you have it, please, could you show me it? And smoke appearing a hand trick. Thanks, mate. Hope you are well. Okay, first of all, I am well. Thank you for asking. We're going to start with the smoke in hand trick. The smoke in hand is where it's a utility gimmick where you make smoke appear in your hands. And that can be used for many different things. You can just make smoke appear, which isn't as good, but most magicians use that as a way to vanish something. So, like, they'll have a coin in their hand, and they'll vanish it, and then when they open their hands, this big puff of smoke appears, and the coin is gone. I don't have that, but I hear it's really good to use. It's a great utility gimmick to have. I do, however, have Rocky Raccoon. I showed it to, or the Zigzag Rocky. I do have it. I showed it to him, but I'm going to show it to you all, and I'll give you my review on it. I did this when I did the Rocky Raccoon trick. I'm going to pull the camera down so you all can see this. All right. So there is Zigzag Rocky. So what you do with Zigzag Rocky is you do your normal Rocky Raccoon routine where you take the raccoon, you do whatever you want to do with it. Got to make sure I have the key. Normally I give the key off to a spectator, so I'll hand it out and say, okay, hold on to the key, make sure I don't get to it. You get a lock on it, and what you do with this is you put Rocky in, and then you say, okay, you can do whatever pattern you want. I usually put him in a hypnotic trance. And then I'll put Rocky in a hypnotic trance. He goes inside of this little contraption here. So we put him inside the contraption like that. And then just so Rocky can't escape, we're going to go ahead and lock him in the little contraption there. Excellent. And you can see around all sides. Now notice there's a door on the bottom of this contraption here. And that is so I can take Rocky's tail and I can pull it out. I can't. Can't find it. There's two doors. That's why they give you two doors on here sometimes. That way, in case you try to pull his tail out the one door. Okay, so you can pull Rocky's tail out of here. And then you take these two little pieces of material, and they go inside of this contraption right there. All right, wait, I think that one goes up top here. Yep. And then you try to struggle putting it in there like you're pushing it through Rocky. And then you take the bottom one, put that in there. And you can pull out his middle section like this. I think it goes this way. Yep. Pull out his middle section. And then you can show that there's no wire, there's no mirrors in there by putting your hand through or putting a wand through. Push that like that. Pull that out. Pull that out. You put the tail back in there. Close that up. You take the key. Whoops, this side. You unlock it. And you can pull Rocky Raccoon out like this. And you can show that he is safe and okay. Really great trick. I actually like this. I use this when I do Rocky Raccoon in my kids shows. I use Zigzag Rocky. I'll do some standard Rocky Raccoon. Normally what I'll do is bring him out and I'll say, oh, you know, Rocky, how you doing? And he won't look at me. I'll say, look at me. Thank you. And then I'll say, oh, you want to eat, right? I'm sorry. Munch, 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 munch. I'll do some like impressions like a tycoon or Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett, an airplane propeller. And then I'll do Rocky's favorite magic trick. I don't have a coin with me, but anyways, it's a trick where I take a coin, throw it up in the air, he watches it go, and then I catch it. And then the next time I don't throw it, and he looks around for it, he can't find it, and I'll toss it, I'll ditch the coin, he'll look for it, like, oh, where'd it go? And then I'll bring out Zigzag Rocky, and I'll say, oh, Rocky wants to do his new trick that he's been working on, and then I'll put him in there to do the trick. And kids actually like it. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. It's a neat version to do a zigzag routine. There's many other zigzag routines out there on the market. There's Zigzag Deck of Cards, Zigzag Cola, but this is Zigzag Rocky, and I think it's really cool. I like using this in my Rocky shows. I actually have a kid's birthday party I got booked for this weekend, and it's really cool. I'm going to use it in my show. Kids love it. I like it. So that is Zigzag Rocky. Speaking of my birthday kid show, if you want to know anything about kids shows, that's going to be kind of the theme for next week. We won't really do a theme, but you know, you can post any questions that you want if they're not kids show related. But we will do a kids show theme. So if you have any questions about my kids show performing, or about your kids show performing, or any questions about magic in general, leave them down below and I'll answer them next week. Thank you for watching Magician 101, and I'll see you next week.